Now, if I was logging into Twitter and I saw this login screen, I'd be scratching my head quite a bit. So we definitely need to take this lesson and make it a little bit prettier. Now, to start off, I think the Twitter team could do a little bit better than the default app bar that we have here. So we're going to remove that app bar. Instead, we're going to add a piece of text here that tells people to log in to Twitter. Now, a couple of things wrong here. First, that text is not even viewable. It's behind that little pill bar. And actually, this whole thing doesn't really look good all the way up here. We should center it. We'll do that by centering the main axis on the column. So set main axis alignment to center. Now the text here is a little small, so let's make it bigger and bolder by adding some styling to our text widget. We're going to make the font size 18 and make the font weight bold. Okay, that looks a little better. Now next, these form fields not looking too good. What we're going to do is put a nice background of gray so that you know it's a form field. Remove this underline and make it rounded so it looks more like Twitter. So to do that, we're going to add a widget called the container widget. Remember, the container is one of the most flexible widgets, so we can style it exactly how we want. We're going to add some decoration. This is where we can set our background color, and we're going to do gray with a shade of 200. If we save that, that's what that looks like. And we're also going to give it a little radius. It's very tighter on the edges here and very close to this little text up here, so we need to give it a little space from everything. We're first add margin, which if you remember is anything outside of the container, how much space you have from the edge to any other things around the screen. So we're going to do from LTRB, which is left, top, right, bottom. From the left side, we're going to want 15 pixels. At the top, we're going to want a little bit more separation between this and the text up here. The right side, we got to make it even on both sides, and the bottom, we're going to keep it 0 for now because we're going to actually handle that on the password decoration part. So you save that. There's a little bit of spacing. Now I see the enter email inside here is very tight with the edge of the container. So in order to give some space here, we need to add some padding. To do that, there's actually a field in the text form field decoration section. So here we do content padding. Now we're going to do a symmetric. Symmetric is where you keep the left and right equal and the top and bottom equal. So vertically, we're going to have 15 pixels, and then horizontally, we're going to have 20 pixels. Okay, that gives it a little space. Now this line is still underneath here. And we can get rid of it by doing input border dot none. Now that's looking good, but one little detail is I think I want a little bit more space between the enter email and the top of the container. So we're going to add a symmetric padding that is vertical. And we're only going to add 10 more. Now I like how that looks a lot better. And we're actually just going to copy paste the same exact thing to the other field. First, we're going to wrap it with a widget, the same container widget. And we're going to paste those fields in there. And we're also going to take the decoration within the text form field into that one as well. Now, if we take a look at that, it's a little weird. It seems like there's too much space here and not enough space here. So I'm going to change the container padding to just be the same all over. So just 15. We save that. I think that looks a lot better. All right, the next thing we got to deal with is this submit button. It doesn't look too good. Doesn't really fit the whole style we got going here. Let's Twitterfy it a little bit. So first, I'm going to make this button into a text button. And then we're going to wrap it in a container widget again to add some styling to it. I'm going to give it a width of 250. Add some decoration. We're going to make it the same blue like the Twitter blue and give it some nice radius so it's circular. And have it be the same circular radius that we had for all these forms so everything looks aligned. Okay, now that's a bit of a mess because our text is the same color as our background. So let's change that. We just change the text style. We're going to change it to white and actually make it a little bit bigger too. All right, I think this is looking a lot better now. Now there's one more thing missing from our login screen. You can't really log into Twitter unless you have an account there. And you can't really have an account unless you have signed up to Twitter. So we're going to take a very similar thing to this and we're going to create a sign up screen. So we're going to copy most of what we've done here and we're going to create a sign up screen. Before that, we need to add a button to bring you to that sign up screen. So the text is going to say, don't have an account, sign up here. And we're going to wrap this with a text button. We need to add an onPressed method. So whenever we press it, we can actually send it to another screen. I've done this before in the previous lessons. To navigate to it, we're going to do navigator.of. We're not going to create a name route for it. We're just going to push the route directly. So material, page route. I want to call that widget sign up. Now we'll see an error for now because we haven't created this sign up widget yet. But what we're going to do is just copy this whole home page. Do Control-C, add a new file, signup.dart, paste it in. And you'll see there's a whole bunch of errors throughout the whole thing because we haven't loaded in the material library, so it doesn't have access to those widgets. And now we can take the My Home page. Like I said, if you click Command-D, it starts selecting every part of the My Home page. And now we can name it to something like Sign Up, which is what we named the widget on the main screen. Now we do have to change a couple pieces of text here. So this one says log into Twitter. We need to change it to sign up to Twitter. Enter your email is all good. Password, everything is okay. Submit. We can actually change that to sign up. And then we should change the text at the bottom to say already have an account. Login. And this should just pop us back to where we were previously. So instead of push, we do pop. So then we have this defined. Now we need to import it. That brings our import statement at the top. We should be able to save it. And now when we click, it takes us to the sign up screen. So one tiny little detail is I changed this to sign up. Let's change this submit to say login. Just to make sure people have the right instructions. Okay, so there we go. We have the login screen and then we have the sign up screen. Both of them have validation to make sure we're putting in the right fields. And they're looking at least a little bit better than they were previously. But there's one big thing missing from this login screen, and that's branding. We need to add in a logo at the top so everyone knows that this is Twitter and we can't be mistaken. That'll be in the next lesson.